Hello, everyone. I know, I was like, really? There was like a long pause. Hey, I know it's been a long week. The reason why I'm shouting is because I am so excited right now. I know I need to calm myself down. I need to take a breath. So I heard you. I have been listening to you guys. I have been basically taking a lot of information in, breaking some of these things down. And I'm always hearing, like, I want to get started, but I don't know how. I want to get started, and how am I going to get all these clients? How am I going to get the right amount of money in order for me to live? Like, am I giving up so much just in order for me to start my own business? Does it make sense for me to start my own business? And like, is the time really now? Is it later? I don't know. And my thing is, you're asking so many questions and you have so much stress and strain for what? Because you're causing yourself so much stress and strain and you're not sure if this is the right thing for you. And maybe you just need a little extra guidance. Maybe you just need just something just to kind of ease that stress. Or maybe you kind of started and you're like, if I could do this again, how would I start all over again? So before I kind of get into the little mastermind that I basically put together, based on all your responses, based on things that I saw during that one event that I did a few weeks ago, I really want to know who's here. And if you're live, make sure you hit that hashtag live. Or if you're watching the replay, just go ahead and hit the hashtag replay. So without further ado, I'm trying to be French and I know I can't do it. All right, so I'm going to introduce that mastermind for online tutoring. Yes, a mastermind is basically a gathering of like minded people where we can actually share our thoughts, share our experiences in order to help us progress to the next step. So, when I was thinking about this, I really wanted to at first do a whole bunch for tutors all together. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can have elementary, I can have middle, I can have high school, and I can have whoever wants it. But then I decided to kind of really narrow it down. Like, I know my math teachers, sometimes they're great with teaching the concepts, but when it comes down to that business aspect, it's a little leery, and that's perfectly fine. But when it really wants to get to how do I get clients? How do I speak to clients that makes them want to use or basically use my services, not so much using me? And just really to be able to put myself out there. So I want to start off with my mastermind, which is basically a 6 week program. And you're probably like, oh, good God, why 6 weeks? But it's not going to be like a Sunday through Sunday type of thing. No, because I know it's the summer, and especially a lot of teachers, you are not, and I repeat, not thinking about doing anything. You just want to shut the school down and just go home, relax, sleep for like almost a week. That's what one thing that everyone would love to do, or pack up their stuff and go to that beach they've been dreaming about or looking on their computer screens over and over again. But when it comes to this mastermind, I want to start this June the 18th. So, yes, we'll have those discussions. Yes, a lot of things will be recorded, but at the same time, you'll still be able to get what I feel like a lot of the other programs are kind of missing, or there is a little bit of it, but I would love to draw it out a little bit more. So, without further ado, let's take a closer look at it. All right. So before we get started, one of the things I want you to do in the comments, what will be your biggest takeaway? That's going to come after I do a little bit. Okay. So just kind of keep this in mind. So then when it's time for me to actually ask it to you, then you can say, okay, this is what I've taken away from it so far. All right. So let me add myself. And this is just going to be a small presentation. So These are one of some of the things that you're going to see for like this whole 6 weeks. So let me get myself out of here so you can see the whole entire screen. So, for the first thing, on week one, again, we're going to have that discussion of mindset. So, when you're in the classroom versus now running your own business, it's a completely different mindset. So, you're no longer the martyr of the classroom. You're no longer have to take each and every kid that you want to take. Now you're thinking more so of a business person. Like, is this the right step for me? But you still keep your integrity. Can I really help this student? If it is, then great, you're going to take on that person. If not, you should have, especially with all the people that's going to be involved in the mastermind, you're going to be able to have other people that you say, well, this child may not be a good fit for me, but I know I can go to someone else for it. So the other essentials, and we talked about this before in other lives, is like, let's talk about your trade name. Let's talk about, do you want to be a sole proprietor or LLC? Then I'm going to help you create a business plan. So now when I say a business plan, it doesn't have to be something that, hey, I need to get this huge business plan, get it sold and situated in order for me to go to a bank the very next day and give them a 20-page, or if anything, a 50-page business plan of what I'm working on now, my future, and all that. That's overwhelming. When I'm talking about like an effective business plan, is more so, yes, think about where you're at right now. Think about who your ideal client is. Think about what will be a good amount to pay in order for you to keep what your budget is. Then also, what do you see yourself in, not only for the 5 year plan, but let's talk about a 1 year or maybe even a 3 year plan. What is it that you want to achieve during this business to make you feel that, you know what? I can do this. And yes, I am doing this. I am making a difference. I am putting my mark or my legacy in this world. So I'll be able to move on and say, yes, let me keep going with this business. Or, hey, I might need to reevaluate because this is not going to be for me. All right. So that's how you can be real and truthful with yourself. So when it comes to how to attract, as I mentioned, and how to keep, it's the key part. Yes, you can do whatever you want to attract clients. You can promise them this, you can promise them that, you can give them discounts, whatever you want, whatever you feel would be right for your business. But then, are you doing them a service to basically kind of keep them around? It's almost like you don't want them to stay. Eventually, you want the kids to basically learn and be able to progress. But do you want to keep them for a week, or do you want to keep them for the whole school year? That's what I mean by keeping them. If they come back year to year, that's awesome. But if they're just like, you know what, I just needed this one time thing and now I'm done. But what could you have done more to kind of keep that person around? So that's all for week one. So now we take a look at week two. We're going to go into marketing. And of course, next week's topic is that. And I feel like a lot of people would go into tutoring for themselves if that marketing piece was just a little bit easier. So, we're going to learn some things that you're going to need tech for, and also some approaches that you don't need tech for. So, something like flyers, like in my private group, from the classroom to online tutoring, I'm actually had like a challenge out there, and I actually posted my part of it, for people to kind of go out to small businesses, at least 3 small businesses within a week, to see if they can post your flyer or your advertisement, whatever you want, to make people or the community aware that you have a business and that you're in the community. And then also take pictures just to prove it, because everyone's not always so truthful. Okay. But then the other thing in week two, we're going to talk about that onboarding process. This is what I constantly keep seeing questions from tutors. Like, what should I do like before? What should I do during? And even after you get that call from a lead? Like you finally got someone that came into your website or your landing page and they finally have questions and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have a new client. So instead of you freaking out, here's like some things that you could do. These are some of the things that I do. These are some things that you can help you with that transition so you won't be so stressed, especially when you get to that one part that freaks everyone out, which is the pricing section. Okay. And then the other thing is basically knowing your worth. So, talking about pricing, talking about scheduling, like there is a process to this. It's almost like a big dance. You don't just jump on the dance floor and do the Elaine, okay? You actually have some steps, have some rhythm. What are some of the things? Let's see, how big is the dance floor? How much space do you want to take up? So there's like an art and a form to figuring out your pricing and also to help you figure out what schedule will work best for you. Now, when I talk about the week 2, especially the scheduling piece, a lot of these things, I'm really trying to gear it towards you. And this is where it kind of differs from a lot of programs. A lot of programs have everything set. It's all like here's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And yes, I do have steps, but for the most part, when it comes to the stepping, when it comes to all those steps, yes, there's some variations in between because we're not all the same. We're not the same person. So there might be some people that might want to do in person. There may be some people that might want to do like more online, or there might be some people that want to do a combination, like a hybrid model. So in order for you to figure that out, we have to really take a look at your business. So that's why that week 1, that business plan really does help out because everyone is not going to want the same. They may want the same end result, but the process is never going to be exactly the same. All right. So then week 3, I know a lot of us have that fear of speaking in front of a camera. Like right now, I don't really have too many people on. But the whole thing is like, I know we did a different time change and it was kind of sudden. I didn't give you guys enough time to kind of adjust. But since it's the summer months and a lot of people either can't really stay till 8 o'clock because they're on a different time zone, so I changed it up. So, with me not having so many people around, that's perfectly fine. And you feel weird talking in front of a camera. But when it comes to week 3, I'm going to break down how we can kind of get over this. And then also, we might have some guest speakers that might help with that, just how to feel comfortable with talking in front of the camera. Because believe it or not, my first video, I was horrible, like absolutely horrible. I was like, so, hey guys, like I didn't want to speak. Who else was in the house? Like there was no one else in the house. Like, go ahead, talk, say what you gotta say. And it took some practice. It takes some practice to look into the camera. It takes some practice to figure out where your eyes should go, how fast you should talk. I'm from Philly. Sometimes I have to remind myself, Philly girl, keep it inside. Slow your roll, slow it down, but really trying to feel comfortable in front of the camera. And then also another thing that other people worry about is what am I going to talk about? Like I have no idea what I'm going to say. Like yes, I have a lot to say about the content, but what is it that people are going to need in order to feel attracted to come to me to use my services? So we're going to talk about that. And then the last thing on that week 3 is the power of follow-up. Everyone always puts their stuff out there and they're just like, okay, it's out there. I'm done. Oh, how come no one's coming to me? I feel really stressed. This is terrible. And then you have to stop and say to yourself, no, it's not terrible. You just have to follow up because sometimes, just like you get busy with life. People get busy with life and they would love to be able to get that follow up sequence. All right. So that's the first half of it. Seems like a whole lot, right? And it'll go through rather quickly. But then week 4, again, I'm going to have you create an intro for your website or for your landing page. or social media, however you want to use it. Like, what are you going to say for that welcome video to bring your clients or your potential clients in? And then how to create posts. It just seems like how to do social media without losing your mind. I mean, for me, when I started, it was the whole trying or doing while working while I'm doing or learning while I'm doing. And it was just thinking about it gives me a headache. And it just like every time I had to like do things, I'm looking on YouTube and then I'm trying it out for myself. And I'm like, well, your version doesn't look like my version. And what's going on here and what's going on there? And it's just a hot mess. And then all of a sudden, like you finally get someone that kind of, oh, you're making sense to me. This makes sense to me. All right. So I don't have to do this. You need to post 20 times a day type of plan because that's not working. Okay. So we're going to talk a lot about that on that week 4. And then also look at those SEOs and just try to get familiar with it. Not that you have to be an expert, because a lot of the stuff that I'm going to present, we're going to have feedback after the 6 months. So after the 6 weeks. So after the 6 weeks, you're still going to have me around. It's not like, all right, 6 weeks, we're done and we're over. No, you're still there to ask questions. We're still there to give some challenges. And I'm going to bring in more people so they can talk to us. There are specializes in those areas. So those are the things that's going to happen basically afterwards. But continuing on. So we got week 5. Again, websites versus landing pages. Which works best for you? Not so much like which one's going to get me more clientele. You're going to have your SEOs, you're going to have your hashtags and everything to draw people in. You're going to be doing social media posts to draw people in to those websites. People are not sitting around looking at websites and looking at landing pages all day. No, there is something that you presented or you created that drew them into those websites and landing pages. So it's all based on what's going to work for you and what's going to work for your budget. So after we do that, we're going to work on some step-by-step instructions on creating those websites. Like, what should I put on my website? What should I put on this landing page? What's going to actually draw people in? So with that being said, and plus again, looking a little bit further into those SEOs and those hashtags, it's almost like week 4 and week 5, it's really dealing a lot with like social media and that creativity sections. So then last week, okay, we're going to look more at the business side of it. We know the content. We're going to try to figure out, especially during our calls, like how to keep your head in the game. Like, how do you keep yourself fresh and new? Because every time you turn around, there's always a new concept, there's a new platform, there's a new this. Where can you go to just stay in the know? And then I would like to do a closing testimonial video with all of us and ask them questions about the whole mastermind thing, and then prep for one of our bonuses. All right. So, which I have here, the Two Tutors Talking podcast interview, which I'm going to explain about the bonuses. So, with that being said, in the comments right now, a lot of stuff is happening in 6 weeks. So, what is your biggest takeaway so far? Was it week 1 that was attractive? Was it week 2? Was it week 3? Do I need to put the weeks up again? I can do that. So, let me take this off for a second just to kind of review that at this bad boy to stream. Okay, so again, your week 1, it dealt with the mindset. It dealt with what should you be? Should you be a sole proprietor? Should you be an LLC? Let's take a look at the business plans and how can you attract and keep your ideal client. Week 2 basically dealt with a lot of the marketing and the onboarding component of it. Pricing, what to say before, after, even during, when you're actually having a discussion with a potential client. Week 3, your video etiquette, how to feel comfortable in front of the camera. All right. And then what are the things that you should say or could say that will attract a potential client? Remember, everyone is not exactly the same. And then don't forget about that power of follow up. Week 4, it went with week 4 and 5, I want to say is a combination of two. You're really dealing more with the social media. So you're basically looking at websites, trying to figure out which one works best for you. What should you say in these websites? What should you say in these posts? And how can you do all of this without losing your mind, right? And then for week 6, it's more of the business side of it. We're kind of wrapping things up, how to keep up with the trends without adding to the craziness that you learned in week 4 and week 5. And then having our closing with the testimonials. So, which week or which stuff really popped into you? So, with all this being said, there are some additional components. So, how this is going to be presented. So, you see all the work that's in it. Let me get myself out the way. Okay. So, this is broken down into separate sections. So, we have the small group sessions. Like, I am trying to keep this as small as possible. So, I'm looking at the absolute most, 12 participants. Okay. Idealistically, will be between 8 and 10, but 12 will be like the ultimate of far that I would go. All right. So I like to keep it small so people can actually feel like, I can answer questions. I can go ahead and be able to talk and not be judged, because that's the one thing that it seems like a lot of people, when they have like a bigger program, it just seems like so immense that they just don't feel like, okay, where can I get a word in? The other part is every week, let me move this bad boy out the way. So every week, starting every Sunday, a lot of people like to say motivational Mondays, but I feel like, especially as former teachers, a lot of us always start doing our thinking on Sundays, like Sunday afternoon, Sunday night. And no matter how we're here for the summer, it's always going to be that whole Sunday night reflection thing. I don't know how it goes. But we're going to have like 60 minutes. We'll talk about some of our goals, some of the things that we want to achieve by the end of this week. And then it progresses to what's called created days. Now, I'm going to have 2 created days. Some created days, one day is going to be in the mornings to satisfy those morning people or also international people. And then I have one in the late afternoon. So the created days, it's going to be, I'm going to give you time. I'm going to talk about a concept. Let's just say, for example, social media. So I'm showing you how to use maybe Canva on how to create maybe a flyer, right? Then I'm going to give you time to work on that flyer. Just really what the bits and the pieces, the coloring, the what do you want to use for fonts, all that. So you could probably slowly but surely say, "Ooh, I like this font, I like this color, I like that." And before you know it, you're creating yourself a branding kit. So that means anything or any publication that you put out there, you can just go straight to your branding kit and just say, okay, this is my signature font that I want to use. This is my signature color that I want to use. So here's the thing that I love about Creative Days. So after I present it, you guys are going to work it. Then we're going to talk and get some feedback on your topic. So it's almost like what we call a hot seat presentation. So each person is going to be able to present what they did during that time that they were supposed to be creating. And you can ask questions. This is all on a Zoom call. So that means if I have to pull you into one of those rooms, I could pull you into one of the virtual rooms, and then we could sit, take a look at your stuff, and then say, okay, continue on, you continue working. And then at least you're going to get same day feedback. You don't have to wait 2 days. You don't have to wait till the following week or maybe even the following session to get feedback. You get that feedback right then and there. So, in addition to this, I want to add what's called a collab workday session. So, this is usually held on Saturdays. Okay. Because I know during the week, some of us are still doing our summer schools, or some of us are still like planning some things or running around with the kids during the week. And sometimes it's just really hard for us to designate time for our business because we're too busy doing laundry, vacuuming, taking the kids here and there, making dinner, all this kinds of craziness, right? But with the collab work days, it's almost like you're going to have a Q&A session, right? Right from the beginning, quick question and answer. Then we're going to have 1 hour of quiet time. Yes, we're going to be on Zoom. Literally everyone's mic is off. We don't have to have the video camera on, but that would have been nice. But this is going to be your time for an hour to work on your business. So that means you can be doing emails, you can be doing flyers, you can be contacting other businesses. Like there's so many things that you can do, but this is an hour that you're just working on your business, nothing else. Okay. So that's why I like to kind of break these days down. So after that, if you want to, you can share again, just like the created days. You can share and get same day feedback based off of what you were working on during that hour time. So I like to say that this is going to be more like if you want to do it, yes, you can. It's part of the program. I just like to put it there because there are some people that will probably come to each and every session. And there's going to be some people that are like, all right, I'll be there Sunday, I'll be there one of the created days. So this could be happening twice a week, or that we see each other, or we can see each other 3 times a week, or we can see each other 4 times a week. It's all based on what you need. So later on, you're going to hear directly from the Masterminds alumni. I had like 3 people that were there for my beta version of it, and we still meet every Thursday. And we still give each other inspiration and give each other ideas and everything. And it doesn't stop. Like we started ours last fall and we still meet with each other. So it's like, if anything, you have the videos there, which I'll share the link in a moment, that you can actually listen to their testimonial. Like, how did they feel about this? And just the things that they said. I mean, there's times I was in tears because I was just like, oh my goodness, like, I can't believe I was able to put us together and they trusted me to do this. And because they're seeing strides in their businesses, I'm like, I can't hold this to myself. I need to share this out to the world. So when you go to my link, so if you go to the link in my bio, either Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, they always have the Solo 2 link. And I know a lot of people don't know about Solo 2. You should. It's amazing. It's just like Linktree. So when you click on Solo 2 ACG Math Tutoring, it will take you to a page that looks just like this. It kind of gives you like the once over, who I am, and everything. If you scroll down a little bit more, you can see you can reach me via email, you can reach me via text. You can also reach me with all these lovely social media platforms. I know. Yep. Yes, you are seeing it correctly. TikTok is on there. But then in the section where it says what's new, you see click to apply for the mastermind for math tutors. That's where you want to go. Okay, so if you click onto that, it will actually take you onto the page where it will show you all the information based off of, went there a little too far, all the information based off of what's going to happen in the mastermind, how to apply for the mastermind. We actually are going to be doing like a meet and greet. And once during that meet and greet, we can sit here and talk to see, I know I'm like breathing, to see if this is the right thing for you. So my suggestion, if this does sound like something that you're really interested in, I am definitely starting June the 18th. Yes, you read that correctly. June the 18th. Because in order for you guys to A, have a weekend or have a summer break, and B, You want to get started before the school year starts again, because that's when you're going to get that huge influx of students. A lot of them, you're going to start seeing them like mid-September, end of September. So I want to get to all this information before that's going to kick in. So a lot of the stuff, don't worry, everything is going to be recorded. So if you join up and you're like, oh, Audrey, but we're going away for a week, don't worry, everything will be recorded. Everything that's going to be there. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. Hell, I even showed you that you're going to be able to get me. I mean, you can basically text me. Okay, everything's there. See, remember, email, text. If you go to that, you can get me directly, or you can DM me on Facebook or Instagram or any of those platforms. All right. So, last part is this is going to be the link that's going to take you directly there. I just put that up there just in case, but you know, and I know you're not going to be able to see that. So, when I'm looking at the next part is if you are looking for a Facebook group just to ask questions, if you want to join into the challenge of like producing or promoting your business at 3 different small businesses. If you want to jump on this week's challenge, you can. Just go ahead and go to From the Classroom to Online Tutoring. So it is going to be that virtual for secondary math teachers, but I'm also getting a few elementary math school teachers as well. So welcome in. If you feel that this is going to be a great place for you to feel supported, come on in. I will never like chuck you out, because that's crazy unless you do something cray cray, and then we're going to have a discussion. All right. So everyone, thank you again. I will be putting the replay on sometime soon, probably like around the 8 o'clock mark. But you are going to be seeing me quite a bit, especially this week and next week, because I will be promoting more of the mastermind. And for next week's meeting or live, I really want to talk about that marketing, that fear of marketing that's stopping a lot of people from starting their own tutoring business. And then the week after that, we're going to talk about how to connect with small businesses. And I'm going to take you with me to a local farmers market, because my neighbors and a few other community members, they decided to put a farmers market together. I'm hoping it's not going to be hella hot because I don't do heat that well. But I definitely wanted to take you with me and just to see you, just to show you like how I network with people. What do I bring with me? And just generally, all in all, what do I do to make those connections with businesses, especially my local small businesses? All right. Thanks again for coming in. And if you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. All right. Take care, guys.